Welcome to the extended dialogue. If you haven't been on our extended dialogues before... Whoa, bro. If you haven't been on our extended dialogues before, be aware that there are spoilers that will ensue during the course of this video. If you don't care about spoilers, then feel free to join us. But this is what's going to happen. Now, one thing I did want to say right off the bat...
This is what's going to happen.
...is that Channing Tatum has decided to make a new Magic Mike film. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. I went there off the get-go.
Can you please not go there again? He's not making any promises.
I'm not making any promises.
No promises.
No promises.
Oh my goodness. Well,
there is some dancing by Channing Tatum in this movie. Anyway. That's the only thing I can think of.
Let's talk about this, because this is great. So, in the trailer, we have, and even in like posters for the movie, you have this talent lined up, you know? Like all these actors.
Woo!
Which is great.
Star lineup.
Which is great. However, the trailer makes it seem like they're all going to feature just as much as the next guy or girl.
Well, I'll just tell you what I thought from the trailer is I thought that these guys were all going to be like banding together to go find George Clooney.
Like, I thought that too.
That's what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah. That's exactly what I thought was going to happen. Now that you mentioned that, that's exactly what I thought. In fact, because there's a specific line in the trailer, in the movie, where they put it in the trailer, and you kind of feel like that's going to happen. And when you get there, you're kind of like, oh, is it going to change in that direction now? But then it just keeps trucking the direction that it has been going the whole time. Which is beautiful.
Good. Yeah,
it's beautiful.
Good. Yeah, but it kind of takes you off guard, because you're like, I thought this was going to be like a rescue mission by these actors, like almost like Argo kind of thing, but for George Clooney instead of like people in Iraq. I don't know. It was just interesting.
So the characters are all basically subplots. Like each character kind of has their own subplot,
right? And
they're all kind of connected to the wheel. If like they're all spokes in a wheel, the middle of the wheel is Josh Brolin's character, Mannix.
I like this,
Mannix, and he's basically juggling everybody. We've talked about this in the review, so you already know all this. But it's just really interesting. Even what's the guy's name that Hill, that character?
Jonah Hill?
Yeah, Jonah Hill. His character, I think, has less time in the movie than he does in the trailer.
The guy had more time in the trailer. No, I don't think so. I don't think that's true. But
like exactly
it's close. Like, it is dang close.
Somebody needs to check that out. Be like, stopwatch. This is how much time he has in the movie. This is how much screen time he has in the trailer. Comparing contrast.
Yeah, which
all the rest of the characters they're a little bit longer, but it's kind of the same story. Like Scarlett Johansson, not a lot of time, but like it's a sub character. It's a subplot. Mm-hmm. Her character fits into the wheel.
Right.
Channing Tatum's character, which you mentioned. Same thing.
Yeah, and basically, like, all these characters are just adding into... Well, I mean, basically like what you said. They're all cogs in the giant wheel of this dude's life, is what you want to say.
Right,
you know
and the dude, again, isn't... Clooney. Clooney's character is a subplot.
Yeah.
Essentially.
I would say he's probably a bigger cog.
Right.
And the cogs that turn the clock.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, he the main thing is the producer.
Right.
Juggling
and
these things.
There's another character who we've called the cowboy. What's his name?
I don't know. I think it's something like Billy, like some generic cowboy name.
Billy. Hold on. I'm gonna reach in my pocket here. I know we're not gonna cut. We're not gonna cut away here, but
we're not gonna cut. He's going to.
You entertain them with various parlor tricks.
Oh, jeez. I don't know any.
Hobby Doyle. Hobby Doyle, folks. That's his name.
You caught me because I was... Sorry. There was going to be some silence.
That's all right, guys. So his character, this is so interesting, too. It's another, like, subplot. And there's a lot of funny moments with him. Especially with, like, the Ralph Fiennes. However you pronounce his name.
Yeah.
Which character do you want to talk about? Because I feel like I want to talk about him.
Well... Yeah, we can talk about him for a second.
So, let's start off with Jonah Hill. Call it on. Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill, he's nothing.
What's so great, is that his character, like, he has no character. He plays it all robotic, which is fascinating because he's the guy who the studio goes to when they need somebody to be what they call a professional person.
Right. Well, and I also thought that he was kind of like what they were saying was like he's the catch-all guy. You know what I mean? Like if something bad's going on, just blame it on this guy. He'll take the fall for it. But then he's also super professional in a way that like nobody will actually believe that it's him.
Right.
Like when you actually meet the guy.
Interesting.
But
and
anyway.
then you have other characters that are totally different on screen than they're off screen, and
yes,
some characters that just can't act.
Yeah, and I don't want to go too much into any of the characters. I want to say one thing about Channing Tatum, and that's that there's this scene where he jumps off of this boat with these. I almost feel like I need to give a little bit of background, but I'm just gonna leave it as is. He jumps off of this boat. He's riding this boat, and this is in real life. This isn't in a movie, like in the movie. It's not movieception here. I'm getting a little bit confusing. But
it's not. They're not filming a scene.
They're not filming a scene in the movie. In the movie.
In one of the mini movies, like Hail Caesar or Here Comes the Moon.
Anyway, yeah, whatever. Basically, he jumps off of this boat, and it's like he's still in character because he jumps off of the boat, grabs hold of this ladder on the side of this submarine that's just emerged out of the water. He grabs it and he looks back, he's like, you know, like...
It's like looking off into the distance.
He kind of does like this smolder. But then there's also this hilarious scene with his dog. If you've seen it, it's funny, but...
If you haven't seen it,
I just wanted to
not.
say, if you haven't seen it, then you're not going to know what I'm talking about. And that's fine.
Right.
But then, the other, I guess, like main sub-character that I wanted to talk about is George Clooney. George Clooney.
I loved what he did.
Has some hilarious moments. My favorite moment, and I was just laughing my butt off, but people weren't. But I was just cracking up. I don't even care. I was laughing out loud.
I wasn't even like...
You weren't even laughing.
I was kind of like, he's laughing. I kind of chuckled, but I don't know if I should be laughing during this part. But it was hilarious.
There's this part where the producer is trying to knock some sense into this guy and basically slap the communism out of him. And he just like grabs the actor and starts smacking him in the face. And George Clooney's reaction is just like, he's like getting slapped like... Oh! What are you doing?
I've never been slapped. Oh, that was really his reaction. It's so good.
It's like, oh, stop! Yeah, like it's just so funny, man. I was dying, and he's like talking sense into him, which is serious, but at another moment, it's hilarious.
That's the thing about this movie is it takes serious things and makes them light, and then it takes like lighter things and makes them serious.
Right.
So like there's a scene where he's having a serious discussion about his future, maybe for the next 10 years, into retirement, and and the money that he's going to make for his family. He sits down with this guy, and like he's looking at him. He kind of looks at his watch, and then like you hear bubbles. Bubbles because there's this water aquarium. There's this aquarium back there, and it's like, bloop, 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 and then like he glances over to the aquarium and then back.
Yeah, it's just like little things like that that just are classic, like in this situational humor. It's real and it's funny. Like that's what's funny about it. The other thing that's interesting about this movie, just to kind of talk in passing, we're not going to be able to get into as much detail with this, but the theological aspects of the movie.
Right.
Like obviously the movie is centered around this movie called Hail Caesar, which is about this Roman centurion played by George Clooney.
Right.
He is basically having this experience with the Christ.
Right.
You know,
so
Jesus.
it's so 1950s.
Right.
One of those epic films, and we mentioned this in our review, like The Road.
Ben-Hur.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there are direct homages to Ben-Hur.
Oh, yeah.
Specifically the scene where you have like the Roman centurion and like he's in the dead. Okay, so in Ben-Hur, I think it's him like in this line.
Yeah.
This lineup. So it's not like a centurion, although he is kind of royalty. You don't really know that yet, but like, and there's this well, and Jesus is kind of feeding or giving water to people to drink. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So they play that scene in Hail Caesar. Yeah. But like Clooney's character's all like, on the way, Roman soldiers drink first. And the thing with this movie, and by the movie, I don't mean like the movie that they're filming in the movie, I just mean like the movie, is they take things like this and expose them for being a film. Like,
right.
For being lights and shadows and stuff projected on a screen. And they do that several ways. One is like by showing you behind the scenes. Another is like by Clooney's character not like horrible acting, which is great because it's not it's not super over the top, but it's just enough. Like in this scene, which is so funny, Because like he gets to Jesus' character, and Jesus is like, you can just see the back of his head,
which it looks like classic hippie Jesus,
just like Ben-Hur,
right around that time period.
And you see his reaction, and he's just like,
wince, wince, squint. Squint at the glory. Squint in the glory.
There's like this director shouting lines at him. He's just, squint harder.
Squint harder. Squint in the glory. Yeah. So
it's really interesting that they kind of deconstruct the religious themes in like epic movies like that, which were all, you know, centered around that. There's this great scene at the beginning, toward the beginning of the movie, where he has this little cabinet of 4 different religious figures. And he's talking with them. He's talking with them. He's trying to discuss with them the film and making sure there's no
theological inconsistencies or things like that. That it doesn't step on people's toes religiously either.
So great as a premise, but then like this conversation unfolds between there's this Jewish rabbi, this I think like Episcopalian or
I mean
there's like
it's inconsequential. There's
like the things that they talk. So like the Jew, he's like, we don't have a problem. Like one of the guys is like, as long as God isn't depicted on screen,
right? Yeah.
And then the guy's like, well, we don't believe Jesus was God, so we don't have a problem. You know, like,
right? Yeah.
And they can't agree on anything, which is like just a really great commentary on that.
It is, but what's really interesting too about this scene is that it's obvious that the producer cares so much about this too.
Right.
Like he actually wants to know, and it's interesting too because he is always coming back to confess. Like he confesses.
Yeah.
He has this watch that he wears all throughout the movie. He glances at it and he's like, "The time. I haven't confessed in 24 hours, Father." And it's just like it's like that. Like he's concerned about these things.
Right. He's probably taking life maybe the most seriously.
Oh yeah.
And he's trying to be as true and honest as he can as a person amongst all these clowns around him.
Right.
Which is really interesting, and it makes for the heart of the very ending of the film. Which comes right after what would be like the climactic ending, which is like Clooney's character at the foot of the cross giving like this dramatic speech, which he fluffs at the very ending, like he just totally biffs it. Which is so funny. But then there's a really short clip right after that of him going into confession again. And grappling with this thing, and then the priest tells him, because he's like, I want to do what's right. What is right? And he's like, well, God wants us to do what is right, which is gold.
Yeah, it's good.
And it's almost like you're overthinking it. You know what is right. Just go do what is right.
Right.
And he's like, all right, I understand. And then he's like, the guy starts going into like this theological thing. He's like, no, that's all right, I understand. And then he just gets up and leaves.
No.
He gets up and leaves, and then goes back to his job. Directing traffic, being the center of the cog of the wheel.
The clock. Bringing it full circle.
That's right.
Bringing it full circle.
Full
clock.
Circle.
Full time. And it's all about the
goodness.
watch and everything. You know, it all comes together. We just blew your mind. Okay? If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. The time, the clock, it all comes together.
There's a lot of significant things about this movie that honestly, I'm going to have to watch it a few more times. Like most Coen Brothers movies.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us, guys, on the extended dialogue. I know we just rambled about a lot of different things, so hopefully you enjoyed it. If you didn't, that's all right, too.
Yeah.
Comment, tell us what you thought, especially if you watched the movie, because we want dialogue happen here. That's why it's the dialogue.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously. Also, if you guys didn't hear, we're going to be reviewing Deadpool next week. So hopefully we're going to get
this week, actually, because this is coming out on Wednesday.
Right, we're going to release this Wednesday. Sorry, folks. So yes, like in 2 days, essentially. If you're watching this on Wednesday.
Hot stuff.
You know what? Just when it comes out, we're going to be there. We're going to be there.
We'll be there for you.
We're going to be there, and we're going to give you our honest opinions about it. All right? Again, thanks. Subscribe, because we're going to 1,000 subscribers. We're trying. That's a goal. So help us.
It's a big one for us.
As always, join us next time on The Dialogue.